4,
Quiet.
3, 2, 1.
Bless them.
Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, I love when she says that. This is Blog Talk Radio, and I am your host. This is Dr. Deb Carlin, and this is the K Factor, where K equals kindness, and the factors are all the things that lead to it. And I'm happy to tell you that I know a major K factor, and that would be my really good friend and co-host here, Tessa Greenspan. And I decided to do a series called Tuesdays with Tessa because I need a Tuesday to look forward to. So every week now I get to look forward to time with Tessa. Good morning, Tessa Greenspan.
Good morning.
And how are you today?
I am absolutely wonderful.
And you know, it is so much fun. We have an audience that is completely audio, and that's on Blog Talk Radio. And we also have an audience that while we're recording this Zoom, this is going to be a visual and an auditory for them. This gets uploaded to YouTube, to our YouTube channel, where people can tune in and see what we've got going on there. And so when we're talking on Blog Talk Radio, sorry for all you people who are just listening, you got to come over to YouTube and see what it is that we're doing. And Tessa looks exquisite. She's got a beautiful sky blue top on, and she just looks her radiant self. And behind her is a very ethereal picture that she had an artist do, and all the colors and all the imagination is just right there. And then to her right is her book, From Outhouse to Penthouse. Tessa, we couldn't have choreographed this any better if we were registered decorators.
That's true. That is true, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. So we were talking right before we came on the air about the better ways to market what it is that we're offering people here. And so while you and I will talk about this privately, this is actually a good thing to talk about while we're working with our audience, because you're known as a whole lot of things. A lifelong entrepreneur, for one thing, a success in the world of organics and organic foods, and saving the Sappington grocery, right? Or the Sappington market.
Yes.
And you're also known for being exquisite at mentoring people and at marketing. Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
She says with
it's my goal. It was my goal. So yes, I did.
Okay. So when you think about marketing, what is it that you do? I mean, what your Facebook page is amazing, and now pages, because not only do you post every day lovely content, so it's always positive and uplifting and fun and playful, heartfelt, and you're posting as much for yourself as you are for your audience.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, because it helps me too. Everything that I post is positive, and my goal and my mission for this, our program also, and for Facebook, and people can follow me. It's Tessa Greenspan. I can't accept anyone else because I'm at the maximum.
Yeah. Of friends, right.
Yes.
The personal pages top out at 5,000.
Yes.
And then from there, people can follow you.
Yes. Yeah. But it's my mission in life. It's really to make a difference. I have an opportunity every day in many, many ways to do that. And Facebook, posting messages that are positive, inspiring, thought-provoking, and fun is another one of my missions, and has been for 5 years or 8 years, I think. I have 60,000 positive messages on my phone. So every day I sort of feel what would be most helpful. Yeah. So that's just another one of my missions in life.
That's awesome. Why?
Why? Well, because it helps. My goal is to inspire, encourage, and help people know that they're enough, that they're good enough, that there isn't anything impossible. It's really how you choose and what you choose in life. And it's really a decision that you make and go for it. It doesn't matter where you came from. It's really what your choices and what your decisions are.
That's really true. And one of the things that I wrote about for our episode here today, and in doing our posting and marketing about our co-hosting show, there's a wisdom that you carry with you that's recognizable. People are drawn to you because you've got this life experience, and I think that um, it has more to do with your elegance and your open reception and the calm that you lead with that draws people to you more than anything else. Do you know that about yourself?
It's always my prayer. In fact, I write in my journal every single morning, and one of the things is that today will be so good, and I will be guided to the words that will most help or will help the most people. So it's my intention. Actually, I set my intention to do that, and that my light will shine, and that you feel better by having watched or listened.
That's wonderful. So that's doing a number of things, isn't it? It's putting blessings upon the day.
Yes.
And it's being overt about it and being unafraid to
That's
proclaim.
true.
Isn't that an interesting reality, to proclaim what your day will be?
Well, it really helps. And actually, it's so important. And I would love to encourage every single person to set your intention for the day. And even do it before you even get up. Set the intention that you're going to find some good things, or whatever your intention is, that you're going to attract, a better job. You're going to attract great people into your life. So it really is you setting your intention, but being consistent with it. It's not, you can't just do it once and then expect everything to fall into place, but every single day, set your intention. See the beauty, appreciate, see all of the things. Oh, I appreciate that. The beauty, the sky, that I have hot water, so many things. So if the more you appreciate, the more your life will appreciate.
That's so interesting. I am, and by the way, Tessa and I do not pretend to be engineers, and so we have all kinds of funny things that happen on our show. And one of the days during the week when I'm on the air, I have my lawn guys show up, and they're mowing. And so I've just decided to work it into the comedic routine of, we like to keep our earthing connections close. So today, if you hear tones, there's a funny thing happening on the internet. We keep addressing it, but it's about pop-ups. So just use it as a cue to pay close attention.
That's a great,
Right?
that is really good. So it's really what you do with what happens to you.
Yes.
That is it's a great positive that could be a negative. So again, it's all in how you look at something, all in how you address something, rather than, oh, this is not a good thing. Hey, this is really, set your intention to pay more attention.
Right. Yeah. You can get so harried about a nothing thing. I was out yesterday, and I was driving, doing a couple of errands, and I went into an office supply store, and it was really funny. All right, I'll give them a plug here. Maybe they'd like to be our sponsor. Office Depot. I go into Office Depot because I need a shredder. My shredder was ancient and it had broken. And I grab the shredder, I go to the checkout, I pay for it, and I'm thinking, this is great because this thing is really lightweight. And I get out to the car and I put it in the car, and I thought, well, wait a second, it didn't even register to me. This isn't in a box. There's no electrical cord. This can't be solar. I don't want a solar unit. I mean, I need this thing to have some electric authority. So I walked back in and I said to the cashier that checked me out, I said, how does this work? And she said, well, I asked you if you had everything you needed. And I said, no, really, seriously, how does this work? And she goes, well, I think you need some help. She let me walk out. And when I walked back in, it was sort of like she was blaming me. And so the guy who walks up to me starts laughing, and he says, You bought the display. There's no motor. There's no cord. There's nothing here. And I looked at him, and when I had been in there, I had initially walked in and I was kind of eager to get everything. And then, I just got kind of annoyed and I got a little crabby. So I think actually it was a gift from God, from the universe, from Mother Nature, that I had to be sent in there for a redo. This guy had me laughing, and he was laughing. He said, "That's really funny. I don't think we've ever had anybody buy a display unit. I mean, really buy it, walk out with it." So we laughed about it. And as I walked up by the cashier, I said, "By the way, I got the whole thing now." She kind of looked at me and laughed a little bit. But I thought to myself, in the moment, especially now in 2020, every single thing that we encounter is an opportunity to express our stress, our rage, our anger, our fear, or not.
That's true. That is very true. And catch yourself and change your mind. If you find yourself getting irritated or whatever, just switch your mind to something else or something fun or some incident and know that this is a little bleep in the life of Dr. Deb.
It was. And then I was out in traffic, and I was at a six-way stop, and it was stop signs. And a guy snuck behind the other guy, so two cars went through, and I got a little scared because I was already out in the intersection, and he came racing through, wanted to do a double, 2 for 1. And so I just I sat there, I paused, I didn't do anything, I didn't beep, I've never given anybody the finger, ever. And he does. He beeps at me and opens up his window and sticks his hand out and puts up his middle finger. And I looked and I thought, I actually don't even have a visceral response to that. It didn't impact me at all, because I had just come from Office Depot that had put me back in the zone of have compassion for everyone, me, everybody.
It is so true. And really, the things that other people do is about them. It really isn't about you. It's about their crisis, about their anger. It's all about them. So if you will just know it's about them and not react to them, your life will be so much better, so much happier.
It is in an amazing way. It's interesting to me how we can get drawn into something that is absolutely none of our business.
It's true. There was a book called What You Think Is None of My Business.
Yeah, what you think is none of my business.
Or what you say is none of my business.
Yeah. So that's funny that you mentioned that, because I was just sitting here thinking about that exact statement. That's some of the best wisdom that anybody can share. What other people say about you is none of your business, whether they're praising you or they're ripping you down.
It's true. It really is true. And it's really important to build your own self-confidence, self-worth, self-image so that you do not react to other people.
Right. Except in a way that comes with compassion.
That's exactly right. If you can teach about it, whatever, if it could be a lesson in love for that person, that would be good.
I had somebody teach me an exercise. I was having difficulty in a community of people where there was a lot of bullying that was taking place, and actually I went to a bishop and talked with him, and he gave me this idea. He said, "I'd like you to try something, and it's going to sound a little wacky, but I'm going to tell you how effective this is." And I said, "Okay." And he said, every time you find yourself wanting to respond or react to that bullying, step back and put your hands together in the open shape of a like you're going to try to catch water in your hands, and hold the people in your hands, in your mind's eye, in your heart, and lift them up. Just lift them up, and envision that you are saying a prayer for them to, when they die, they're going to heaven. Whatever it is you want to think about, that you're going to lift them up. At some point, their spirits are going to be lifted up. So, you know, a lot of people don't relate to God, or they don't relate to prayer or religion, but most people, I think, relate to the idea of lifting yourself up, lifting others up, and taking things off of your shoulders and giving it up. You know, give it up.
It's true.
Right? Give it up to the universe, give it up to God, give it up to Mother Nature. And you know, I did it, and it was really effective. It really worked. It was like I had a shield around myself. And I think that self-protective shield comes from your confidence that you can actually do something in the midst of feeling like you can't do anything.
I totally agree. Yes, you can. And it's really you being in your safe zone of self-image, self-control, self-love. Know that God is within, and that love is really what it's all about.
Yeah, your esteem for yourself is so fixed
Mm-hmm.
that it becomes unshakable. So I actually renamed it the Love Cup.
Oh, that's good.
And so in my cup of love, with my hands open to be the carrier of water, and instead the carrier of love, to take those people and put them in this vessel of love, and like hold them up in my hands like they're birds that I want to release.
Mm-hmm.
Fly up to the sky, to have freedom, whatever it is that we can do. And I've been thinking, wouldn't it be awesome if during this time we had a way to encourage our audience to use this time every Tuesday to join whoever is in our audience, and we have a movement of people that are all thinking about goodness and positivity and upliftedness and optimism.
Well, this energy, where two or three are gathered together, this energy of people who are focusing on love, and the more that do it, the better their surroundings will be, and it affects the world. So I love that, because it's so true. It would be really good for everyone to stop, if they can, to stop, watch this and listen, and be in the moment. Is being mindful and take away what will serve you.
Yes. So in terms of you and I coming together to serve others, I think that we bring people the voice of servitude, the attitude of humility, which, by the way, has been major league as a theme in my life. Humility. Oh my gosh. There have been so many things that have made me feel my confidence and my optimism, and that's a good thing. But the humility part, it always felt to me insulting somehow. And indeed, it's actually honoring.
Yes, the more humble we can be, and when you know that we all have challenges, we all have a lot of different things in our life, but to be humble, that means that it has a lot of meaning. But one is that you're no better than the other. We are all one. And so it really is, if you get a little ego, then check it, like check it in the closet.
Say more about that, because I think you've got some interesting techniques there I'd like you to share with people, me included.
So it's being aware. This is the first thing. Once you make a decision in something, it's being aware. And it's really like the words you say, the words that you say to yourself. That's a great example. It is really, really important. If you want to make a change, be aware of the words that you say to yourself. Do not say words, that was stupid or I'm fat or whatever it is. Do not say these things to yourself. Just say, I am so grateful that if it's a weight problem, that weight is coming off of me. I am so thankful that I am aware of the words I'm saying to myself. I am beautiful, blessed. I am a great person. So it's the words that you say to yourself that is so important. You would not speak of another person like you speak to yourself.
Isn't that the truth?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I always tell people is just remember, you hear what you say.
Absolutely.
And, people look at you a little funny when you first say that because it's so obvious that it's like, why are you telling me that? Of course I hear. No, I mean, seriously, you really hear, not just with your ears, but your unconscious, your subconscious, your conscious, and then you believe because we all absolutely trust ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So if we say it, we be it.
Well, and that goes to your subconscious mind. And so your subconscious mind is believing it. And so that is not helping you to move forward to be in the best image of yourself or the best of anything. So it's really reprogramming. If you think of it like I am going to program this brain, I am sort of like if you want to program a doll that talks, to children, you are great, you're beautiful, all of these things.
Yeah.
What we do and say to ourselves really have an impact, amazing impact.
Amazing impact is right. So Louise Hay, who you and I are both a fan of,
Mm-hmm.
and who developed Hay House. I'm amazed at how many people don't know about her. But Louise, yeah. So there was a whole era where she was just rocking and rolling, and Hay House is a great publishing icon, but when she passed away in her 80s, in the last few years, I think that she had been winding down, but she really cultivated so many people, including Wayne Dyer, who was probably one of her dearest.
Mm-hmm.
And her whole mission was about exactly what we're talking about in terms of mindfulness and the influence of our mind over every bit of our life, our health being one of them, because she was so deadly sick at a very young age. And she decided, I am going to tell myself what to do with this illness.
She was also the first to really embrace and started meetings with people with HIV. And she was a catalyst in really bringing so many things and even drugs being developed for people with HIV.
Oh, really?
In that era, there was a young boy even that was shunned because he had HIV. So, I mean, she was instrumental in helping to educate the world on HIV.
Yeah. It's really interesting to me when people are talking to me and they know me as a doctor of psychology, they'll think that I'm a therapist. And what I'll say is, look, what I do is very therapeutic. I pray for it to be very therapeutic, but I do not do clinical therapy with people. That is a whole nother process. And the paradigm for that is applicable for cases where people really need help to unravel things that need a deep dive, and they really have to unwind a whole package of programming, really. And that's been woven into their mind, woven into their self-scripting, the way that they interact with others, and their whole belief system about themselves. But what my work is to focus on and what you and I are talking about and put it into a teaching mode so people can get educated and experientially. and really learn.
Well, people need processes. It's not, my opinion is it's not just enough to talk. You really need processes in order to
Right.
make changes. You can talk forever,
Right.
and that does not solve anything unless you have an action to go with that process.
Exactly. So for us, when we're here, like last week, you were describing, I was asking you, how do you start your day? And you were giving people very tangible exercises. So one of the things that I'd like to know in terms of your health and well-being and your physical health, what is it that is your practice in terms of your self speak, and then in terms of your actions that you take to have good physical well-being?
Well, that is a whole course. um, there are many things though, and I'll just touch on a few. And one is what I eat. I eat organic. I very rarely eat any meat or any of this. Um, that is really important. It's really what I put in my mind, and I am very aware. There are words that I say, and if I'm mentoring someone, these are words that are to be aware of and stop yourself. And that is can't, won't, wish, want, um, if, no try, ever. So it's really, I have a list, or I have words that I will not let in my mind. And I teach that to other people too. And it's really amazing. Instead of I wish, I will do this.
Oh.
Instead of I want to, I will do this today, this week, or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's really changing your mind and changing what you really are going to do. I'm going to try. Well, that means that you're not going to. I will do this. So I will is really a much better wording than I wish, or I'll try, or I want. Well, all of those words are not in the now.
They're really procrastination words.
Yes, it is. Yes,
That's
it is.
interesting.
Because you can put it off, you can put off anything. But
Right.
when you make that statement, I will do this, I will commit to such and such, then you really are committed to it, rather than it's not wishy-washy. And you're right. It is a means of procrastination to say those words. But it really takes a moment, and I would like to encourage everyone who's listening or watching, if they would really make this list and then just be aware. Once you decide that you're going to be aware, it's really amazing how aware you will become.
You know, the words that we need to use are I am,
Yes.
I will.
Yes. I am is one of the most powerful words, and I make it a point to say it when I'm writing in my journal. There's several things that I do, but why do I know that I am? I write I am many, many times. That really is the two words, or two, yeah, it's not really two words, but it is two words that can make such a major difference in your life. I am blessed. I am happy. I am free. I am healthy. So it makes you feel good.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever done any audio or videotapes of doing that?
No, but I have a number of them, but I do it.
Yeah.
I haven't made an audio, but it's a good idea. And by the way, for anybody that wants to have a mantra or an affirmation, there is a program called Voice Loop. It's 99 cents on the App Store. And it really is a great thing to connect. For instance, if you want to do something, like I am happy, I am healthy, I am successful, whatever. If you'll say these,
Yeah.
you can record it, and then you click merge, and it will, you can say it will say it over and over and over again.
So the app is called
Voice Loop, and it's 99
Voice
cents.
Loop, L-O-O-P.
Yes.
I said L-O-O-P. Okay, L-O-O-P.
Yes.
So Voice Loop
Loop.
is the app.
Yes.
And what it does is it records you and then it loops it back to you.
Yes.
Okay. Can you
And
put
it
it on?
loops it continuously. And I do this with a lot. If I'm doing a speech or whatever,
Yeah.
I will do this a lot so that it is continue in my brain.
Okay. So can you put it on a timer so it'll just jump at you?
I don't know. I've never done that, but you can put it, you can set your timer to say voice loop and then go to it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I love that. All right, tip number 1, Voice Loop. Get the app.
Yes. And exercise is another part of being, I speak on the 4 pillars of health, and actually there's a 5th one too, but that I sometimes tell, but it really is what you read, what you put in your mind, and what you allow in your mind. That is really, so we've got, and then it's supplements that you take. There are some, it's really going to a person who is that test of what you need in your body. This is really a really good thing. So it's really what you put in your mind, the food that you eat, the exercising, and the supplements. And I say it's really important for you to work on focusing on your financial situation.
Absolutely.
It's really, because you cannot get older and be in this kind of shape or eat organic foods if you do not have the financial wherewithal. So it really is important for you to start working at that, no matter what age you are. Even, it's never too late to start.
No, it's not. And there's opportunity everywhere. As a matter of fact, one of the things that we haven't done is talk with our audience yet, because we've only done a couple of episodes. But one of the things that Tessa and I are doing together is this show, and hopefully, no, we are.
There you go. All right. See, you just caught yourself. So that was a good example.
Yeah, we are building our tribe, our audience, and what we will do is we will be telling you dates of webinars that we're going to do, because it's important for people to know that they can step in a step closer. So on this platform, we don't take calls on Blog Talk Radio. The only way that I do that is if we have an engineer, and then we have to edit the whole episode. It's another layer of away from simplicity, and we're all about simplicity for this. But we're interested in having an engagement with our audience, and that means being able to do webinars where people can come and they can be in the chat box and they can talk to us and they can ask their questions.
Yeah.
And that's lovely. And as the world opens back up again, we will do events where we're live together, which is, do we just all kind of miss that a little bit?
Well, I think that there is a way you can give a certain even messages or whatever that they can ask questions for the following week. So if they have a question of you or I or both of us, send to, message you on your website.
Well, easiest on social media. So the posting.
Yes, on social media. I meant message in, Facebook.
So sending messages on Facebook, making comments where you see the episodes posted is a really healthy way to make contact with us, and pose your questions and let us know what it is that's been helpful, what would be even more helpful, what sort of topics are important to you. One of the things that that you had said a few minutes ago was about exercise and doing exercise. And you do some very specific things for your exercise. What are some of the things that you do?
Well, several things. One is I have a vibe machine, which I exercise on that every single day. I
And
also,
that's plates that
yes,
wiggle
mhm,
at a certain rate, and it
right.
really
And there,
changes your circulation and your frequency, right?
yes.
Yeah.
And it, but there are a whole list, there are a whole, I have a whole program that I can exercise on
Mm.
with that machine. And then I have a tower toner, which is sort of like a Pilates. And then I have a friend that I do a yoga class with on Zoom
Oh, really?
and walk. Yes, he lives in Canada, actually.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Hmm.
That's great. There are so many options for us. Even when the world opens back up again and we can
Well,
run
there
like
are
maniacs.
options now, not just,
Exactly.
yeah. So I don't believe in excuses for
Right.
anything. I
No.
believe that it's either you do or you don't. If you choose, there are many things. There are so many YouTube things and
Oh, yeah.
exercises that you would never, you could do it all day long, every day.
Right. Right. You absolutely can. So in our work together, we are sharing with people what our approaches are, what our techniques are. There's I love yoga too, and my favorite things to do are to walk in nature more than get out and walk on streets. I like to walk through forests and parks and beaches. I like to walk in the water. I love to swim and swim in the water. And those things are all really helpful. And then in terms of flexibility, I too love yoga. And a gal who's gotten really popular on YouTube is Adrienne. And so you just type in Adrienne yoga, and she puts something out every day, and it's really lovely. And
So it's really, there's no excuses.
that's right.
There really should be no excuses, because there are so many things that are available. And it really is creative too, finding alternatives to what you've done in the past. It really can be exciting. It's really, there again, how you look at it.
Yeah, right,
It's
exactly.
either drudgery, or I can't, or I'm going to find a way.
Right, exactly. I found that sitting in my office can be really productive to a point. And then my body starts talking to me saying, you need to move me around. You need to do something different. This is unnatural. And so I appreciate that I dial myself into the way that my body wants to talk to my mind and really instruct me in ways that are productive to take the steps that are necessary in order to have a good life.
And that too is a decision. So it's really choices and decision. Those are two big words
Yeah.
that I would really encourage everyone to think about. And one of the things I always say too, another thing to say to yourself, is this the highest and best use of my time and resources? No matter what you're doing, question that. Is this the highest and best use of my time and resources for where I want to go?
Yeah. I don't think I say that enough. I think that ought to be into my mantra every single day, several times throughout the day,
Well, it
because
really helps.
there are things that you can just drift off in.
Or get sidetracked. True.
Right, exactly. And by the way, this is not to diss the time that is your downtime. When you are just daydreaming, that's really healthy. Or if you go to take a nap during the day, that's really healthy,
True.
because we need times just to move back from whatever the stimulation is, right?
It's very true.
Yeah, and just find respite with it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're at home and you're mentoring people. Are there particular themes that people want to talk to you about?
Well, I mentored several people. I'm in the process of mentoring several people right now. And so it's really their life or their business and how I can help them. So I always, we set agreement with them, what is your plans for this week? Then I might give some more suggestions. And so then they must commit to that. And then the next week we'll talk about it. How did that go? And how can we improve?
And is there a theme for what kinds of issues you're seeing, especially now in 2020?
It's really well, not being able to be out and network is a big deal for a lot of people in business. That is a big deal because there is nothing like being in the presence of someone. We can do Zooms all the time, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
There is nothing like being in the presence of another person, though. I mean, because it's more energy too.
Right.
So networking and not being able to get out has been the biggest. I, again, do not believe in any excuses. So you find alternatives for now.
I just had a funny thought about that. One of the things about Zooming, everybody's sitting down.
That's true.
It would be really interesting to do Zooming standing up.
True.
And having that energy, if there was a way to do it, that it wouldn't be disconcerting. I don't know how you would do that exactly.
I don't either. The thing of it is, though, you're right about this. Standing up gives you more energy when you're interacting with someone.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, there's standing desks.
Yes, there is.
So I wonder if that would work.
Well, it would. It wouldn't work for me because it's all in.
Right. Yeah, our offices are fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So one of the beauties of doing FaceTime is that you can be anywhere, moving in any way. The camera can be facing you, the camera can be facing out, and you can bring people onto camera with you.
I haven't done that. I'll need to learn how to do that.
It is amazing.
Okay, well, see, you're never too old to learn. Actually, that's good. I would like to learn that. I do a FaceTime with my my speech coach.
Okay.
And that's how we interact.
Okay, I'm sorry. I meant to say this is on Facebook Live.
Oh, Facebook Live, not on your FaceTime. Okay.
Right.
That's different.
Yes. So on Facebook Live,
yes,
you can have the camera facing you, away from you. I mean, on anything you can do on your phone or your iPad, you can turn the camera either way. But the thing that I thought was really energizing in doing Facebook Live is that when you have people show up, you can put them on camera.
True.
There's a function
that
says, bring them on the camera.
Yes, I've been on a lot that have that. But they do it, well, I think they do it with Zoom, don't they? With Facebook Live, they do both.
You mean bring more people on camera?
Yes.
Yes, because if we have an audience here in our episode, we can decide who it is we want to have. There's buttons on the sides of the gallery where we're looking at each other right now that allows us actually, we're in control, allows us to say we want people to come on video and they can come in here. So we can be Hollywood Squares if we want to.
Cute.
Yeah. So Tessa, what is it like to be a grandparent and a parent at this point in our world and in our culture? What pearls of wisdom are you sharing with those younger people to help them feel animated about the world.
Well, one of the things that I have thought of, and somebody in Florida is interviewing me on grandparenthood. She writes an article, and I would urge people to not give so much to children. What I would urge you to do is develop experiences. You know, going here in St. Louis, outside of St. Louis, is this wonderful sunflower garden or whole acres.
Oh yeah.
If you, there are many places that are within driving distance. Is help them. You can start when they're 5 or 6. Help them to learn about that, learn about the flowers or where it came from, or from wherever you go. I would urge people to have more experiences rather than giving monetary gifts, because that lasts a lifetime. And the gifts, you forget about them. So it really is, we as grandparents and parents want to give our children things we didn't have, but that is not fair to them. We also take away their being to not take responsibility for their behavior. We try to protect way too much. And it's really important for children to be able to handle the world. It's hard to see our children hurt, but the point of it is you don't learn how to really recoup unless you have been hurt, unless you learn that, instead of a parent or grandparent taking away and making everything good.
Yeah, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and let's define good. Good is the opportunity to really learn that this
Yes.
experience is not killing you. This experience is about growth. This is about change. This is about adaptation.
Yes.
It's about a pivot.
Yes.
I'm impressed with a lot of the parents that I'm seeing right now who, and it really, this just delights me, who are saying, I never knew all this about my house, about my home. I never knew what it would take to do all of our meals here. I had no idea how to really play with my kids and interact with them and work and have them work. And I'm thinking, this is a golden opportunity.
Yes, it is. This time has really helped families in so many ways. And they are learning things about each other that they didn't know. They've stopped the activity of rushing from here to there. They've stopped all of the kids' activities from one to the next, to the next, to the next.
Frenetic.
It's much too much, but there's no interaction.
Yeah.
Now there has been, because they had to stop. And so I'm hopeful that many people will learn this lesson well, that it's really not about the things or all of the activities. It's about having family time and communicating and learning to communicate. How did you feel about that?
Right.
What was your impression on that? To ask the children, because I found that if I could do things over again, one of the things I would have done would have been to say to my children, how did you feel about that? What was your impression of that? Because many times their impression is not what the actual incident was.
Absolutely. That is such good learning.
Yes.
So the method of inquiry is marvelous.
Yes.
And you and I have talked about this. I talk about it in my work and in the program for building on your inner strength. And there's an author that I'm really enamored of, and that's Parker Palmer, who the first book that I was introduced to that he wrote is called The Courage to Teach, which says everything. Well, he's a Quaker, and he's in his 70s, and very calm, low key. And part of what he teaches is that when you walk into the classroom, it takes real courage to walk in there. And you have to remember that no matter what the school or the state or the nation says is your curriculum, you as the teacher are the curriculum, because you're going to set the tone for everything that takes place.
That's true.
Well, he uses the method of inquiry to help people problem solve, but it's never a leading question. It is an opening question.
And that's really the best way.
You know, instead of, well, why did you do that? Well, you know, well, what does it look like to you? You know, well, this is a problem for me. Well, what does that look like to you? Can you say more about that? If you assigned a color to it, what would that color be? What does that color mean to you? And then people start thinking in ways that actually detach a bit from them.
That's true.
And then they can look at it and process it, right? But in the midst of that, one of the things that I'm thinking about is that everything he's talking about is really an example for us as teachers in life.
True.
So wherever we go, we've got the classroom, so to speak, with anybody who's in our audience, and we have an opportunity to be the agenda to lead them.
That's true. How we show up in life is really important.
Critical.
Yeah.
So in order to do a show, one of the reasons why I wanted to expand the model from just me talking or bringing in guests to interview and now bringing in a co-host, the energy, the exchange, the anticipation of a Tuesday, the anticipation of that influences the mind, and then influences the feelings, and then influences the outcome that we produce. So our hope is that collectively between Tessa and I, that the energy, the conversation, the calm that we produce here spills over and people start craving it.
That's true. That's true. Several things that I want to mention, and then I would like for you to give the people where they can go to write the questions.
Okay.
But I would like to encourage every single person to read my book, From Outhouse to Penthouse, because there are so many gems in it. And it's really finding solutions when you have a challenge, finding the solutions instead of focusing on the challenge. And my website is tessagreenspan.com. So I wanted to say that, but I would really like for you to tell your website or your Facebook, not website, but Facebook, and where they can go to ask the questions for our next, because I feel that it's really important, not just for us to talk, because we could talk forever, but what we can do to help other people.
Mm-hmm. To really be of service.
Yes.
So there's a couple of different, actually there's a handful of Facebook pages that you can go to that are Deborah, DEBORAH, Carlin, CARLIN. Then there's Deb Carlin, or Dr. Deb Carlin. And when you go to Facebook and you do that search, they'll pop up and you can post your questions right on a post. I'll get a notification about it. Or you can Facebook message me. And you can do the same thing with Tessa at Tessa Greenspan. And the other place that you can go to if you are on LinkedIn, and I'm on LinkedIn every day, and that is Dr. Deb Carlin. And same with Twitter. How about you, Tessa? Are you on LinkedIn?
I am on LinkedIn, yes.
Okay. Tessa
And
Greenspan?
Instagram. Mm-hmm. I'm on Twitter, but I really don't do a lot with Twitter.
Well, this show gets blasted out on Facebook automatically, Twitter automatically, and Tumblr.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even know I had a Tumblr account.
I have not done Tumblr.
Well, you're doing it now.
Oh, well, good.
You're developing an audience on Tessa on Tuesdays Tuesdays with Tessa on all three of those outlets. Well, you know, this is amazing. We've gone through another hour of conversation.
And how wonderful. It is something to look forward to.
Yeah, it really is.
Yes. And hopefully that there many people will get some gems from it that will be encouraging or helpful to them.
Well, I'm thinking how many people, when they're around us and they see our energy, are thinking, I wonder what one of their phone calls is like. I'd like to sneak in on there. Well, now you are.
Yeah.
In a Zoom call. So, Tessa, thank you for this again today. We'll be back next week with more.
Okay. All right. Have a great week.
Yeah, thank you. You too. And same to everyone in our audience. This is your host, Dr. Deb Carlin, here with my good friend Tessa Greenspan on Tuesdays with Tessa on the K Factor, where K equals kindness and the factors are all the things that lead to it. And with that, I'm going to say toodaloo and end our meeting